Literary theory of the European literature. First, we have structuralism. Structuralism enjoyed popularity in the 1950s and 1960s in both European and American literary theory and criticism. Structuralism as a system of science in which meaning is constructed within a context. Criticism that uses a structuralized approach analyze patterns, narrative operations, and modes of operation to interpret the text and the culture from which it emerged, exploring underlying structures that made the creation of meaning possible. Next is Ferdinand de Saussure, a European person, and he was the most prominent linguist of his time. For example, in this structural theory, when someone says the word three, the sound he or she makes is the signifier and the concept of the tree is the signified. The relationship for the signifier to the signified determines the meaning of the sign. The German literature. Literature of the German-speaking people in Europe, primarily the Germans, Austrian, and Swiss. The German language, like its literature, has strong regional characteristics. German literature is rich in beautifully crafted stories, especially from the eras of Sturm und Drang, Romanticism, and Realism. Certain German books are an excellent introduction not only to German literature, but to German culture and the history of the Germany too. A literary text and the title Faust by Johann Wolfgang. Heinrich Faust, a learned scholar, feels that none of his many achievements has provided him with a satisfaction or a sense of fulfillment. He yearns to gain knowledge of absolute truth and the meaning of existence. Faust turns to magic in the hope of finding a solution and finally makes a pact with the devil. He agrees to sell his soul if the devil can give him one moment of experience, which is so rewarding that his sense of alienation disappears, and he calls upon that moment to stay as it is forever. In part 1 of the poem, Faust attempts, with the devil's help, to find happiness through emotional involvement. His tragic love affair with Gretchen and her death, but Faust is most chastened by this experience. In part 2, he tries to satisfy his craving through temporal accomplishment and exposure to all that the world can offer in terms of ideas and externalized gratification. He attains an important position at the imperial court, learns much from the figures of classical antiquity, woos Helen of Troy, who wins great victories, and is renowned from his public work, but none of these things give him lasting peace of mind. Faust is bitter and disillusioned. He is finally admitted to heaven by God's grace in reward for his endless striving after knowledge of goodness and truth, and his courageous resolution to believe in the existence of something higher than himself.